Hello, everybody. We have a fun one. Look at this beautiful snake. It's a fidget snake. Works out pretty easy. He is fun to make. He doesn't take a whole lot of time. I'm going to do this in like an hour or so. And you can get him to do whatever you want. We're going to dive into it. We only need a couple things, and let's move on to it. So I used a 2.75 millimeter crochet hook. If you want to use a 2.5, you're welcome to. Your scissors, darning needle, a tape measure, stitch markers. You will need about 13.5 inches of this decorative wire, 12 gauge. You will need a tiny bit of fiberfill, and I used from my stash. This is from Hobby Lobby, Yarn Bees, Fundamental Cotton, and I used Aqua. Like I said, this doesn't take long, just takes a little time and patience, and you got it. So let's dive into it. Okay, let's have some fun making this little snake. I am using my stash, as you can see, kind of beat up, but this is great yarn. It is definitely a 4-ply yarn. It is called Fundamental Cotton, Aqua, Yarn Bees, but I've used this yarn for other projects and I absolutely love it. And because this is like it's a fidget and needed to be steady. So, steady. Yeah. Let's start with a magic ring. And I am using a 2.75 millimeter crochet hook. If you need to do a magic, if you cannot do a magic ring and you want to do the chain, just chain 3 and slip stitch to your first stitch and chain 1. And then guess what? Right where we're at. In your magic circle, magic ring, I want you to put in 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to be working in the rounds. So, round 2, we're going to do an increase. We're going to just dive right into the next round. 3, 4. So the first stitch, do a single crochet. Take your time getting into the stitches. They might take a little finesse, but you will get there. It's okay. Take your time. I'm not perfect at it either. So, and then the next stitch, you'll do an increase. So you'll do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. I'm going to mark my first stitch so I don't lose it. So then the next stitch, you'll do 1 single crochet. Then the next stitch, sorry, my son's room door is shut. He's playing games, so he's trying to be quiet, but I can still hear him a little bit. So the next stitch will be an increase. No. And we're also getting some kind of nor'easter coming in, so every time my dogs hear a noise, they bark, so I do apologize. So the next stitch is a single crochet. And the next stitch is an increase. And that should land you at 9 stitches. 1, and 2. All right. All right, round 3. This is why I use a stitch marker so I can see right where I'm supposed to be. Round 3, that first stitch is an increase. Right there. One, and back in there, and do your second one. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1.
It's not ugly, Derby. It's not ugly.
2 and 3. The next stitch, do an increase. And then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, excuse me. Okay, you should have 11 stitches now. Row 4. First 2 stitches will be increases. So that first stitch, put in 2 single crochets. The next stitch is also an increase. Put in 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. The next stitch, put an increase, 1 and 2, increase in the next, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the last 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that'll take you to 15 stitches. Rows 5 and 6, you're just going to go around and match stitch for stitch, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, so I did my 2 rounds matching stitch for stitch, and it already looks really cute. See it? So unfortunately now will be about your only chance to put the eyes on. And I say sadly because I usually like to be much further along in the project before I do eyes, but this is how it is and this is how it goes, and that's just the way it is sometimes. I'm using extremely the smallest eyes that I have in my arsenal for him. So where I'm joining, I'm going to make that the bottom. So here's the center, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to pick right there. Make that a little bigger. Try to get that through. And yes, you will be able to get it through. It just takes time and patience. All right. I'm going to put this back on the very back. Okay. First one's on. Now, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 stitches in between, so right about here. There we go. And make sure it's lined up how you want it. I'm going to put the back on that one. Okay. Now the eyes are on and I can close this. I don't have to worry about it falling and making a mess or me losing stuff. So there's the eyes. Very content with it. And if this project is going to be given to a young child or a child that chews on things, I wouldn't advise you to use these eyes. I would absolutely advise you to embroidery eyes. All right. So now the next row. We're going into decreasing. That's why I wanted you to get the eyes on right away. All right, the first stitch will be a decrease. Front loops only. And do a decrease. Okay. Next one, another decrease. And I'm going to put my stitch marker in so I don't lose my spot. There you go. Now I want you to single crochet in the next, let me make sure. I used 4. Yep, okay. So we're doing a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. I'm trying to make sure where stitch I'm at. Yep, all right. I don't know why I'm crushing myself so much lately. All right. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do a decrease again. Okay, do another decrease. And then single crochet 4. And 4. Just like that. Now you should have 11 stitches. I'm going to tuck my tail in before that becomes an issue. Make sure the eyes are not getting sunk in by no means. Okay. All right. Round 8. A decrease. Oops, a decrease. Then single crochet 3. One, 2, and 3. I'm going to go back 4 and mark my stitch. All right, next stitch is a decrease. And then single crochet 4. That should take you to 9 stitches. Worried about that one eye. It looks a little more sunken than what I wanted, but actually, okay. All right. So you're at 9 stitches, and number 9 is a single crochet and decrease all the way around to take it to 6 stitches. So single crochet, and next one, decrease. Okay. Single crochet. Decrease. There we go. Takes time and patience. Single crochet. And then decrease. Now you should have 6 stitches. I'm going to go grab a tiny bit of filling because that hole is small. But thank goodness we only need a little. Okay, obviously I grabbed too much. So I don't know why this has been my go-to for the last few projects, but it's a pen cap, isn't it funny? So just take a little bit and just, maybe the pen cap isn't going to work this time. Tweezers it is. I think that's more than plenty. Try that just a tiny bit more. And then I'll probably say, why'd I do that? Okay. There we go. All right. Look how cool he looks. All right, so now you need wire. This is what I got at Michael's. What it looks like. So I cut a piece off and I bent the ends, each end, in a little loop because you don't want the ends poking out. And uh, 11 and 3/4, make it 12 so you can bend in ends, inches long. So what you do is one end is going to go in here in the head. Wiggle it around. The stuffing, if you put too much stuffing in like me, you can take some of it out. Put that in there because you want it in the head. And then you can actually refill your stuffing in. Okay, and then when you're content with your filling, your fiber fill, all you're now going to do is just keep matching stitch for stitch, no increasing, no decreasing. You're at 6 stitches. You're just in a single crochet around and around and around until you get to the end down here. So when you get close to the end, I'll meet you back. All right. I crocheted it all the way to the end, and if you look, if I push it, it goes in. So that is our sign of closing it. So all you have to do is do 3 decreases. So what I'm going to do, because it looks like it's being stubborn, I'm going to take a stitch marker. I'm going to see if that'll work. Nope. All right. So since it's just being stubborn, let's do it. Do a decrease. I'm doing regular decreases. That's one. There we go. It doesn't look like I got the full stitch. There. Now that I got these two, push it down. Pull tight, wrap, and go through. And then all right. Do the last stitch. Since it's not cooperating, I'm going to do this. Cut it. Pull it. Get a darning needle. And I'm going to just weave it. Sometimes when something don't work, you gotta figure out another way to do things. Okay. And then you just lose your tail. And there it is. So we can do we can do that. See how cute that is? That's gorgeous. Or you can also do absolutely gorgeous, guys. He was so much fun. Takes a little time and a little patience, but as you can see, this little fidget snake is really worth your time. I loved it. Well, until next time, guys, thank you for following us. And if you haven't, can you please hit that subscribe button? It helps us to keep bringing you these fun tutorials. I'm Ronnie. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you these fun crochet tutorials. Until next time, here at Whip and Chain, it's always a work in progress. Happy crocheting, everybody.